I'm Markeia.
Want to hear something scary?
Dead-eyed doll. Some people love taking a walk down memory lane, but all too late they realize that memories can be devastating nightmares. Bree stood impatiently on her front porch. It had been 4 years since her best friend Finn had moved out of state, and she couldn't wait to finally be reunited. So much had happened since the 6th grade, Bree wondered if it would be strange being together again. But as soon as Finn pulled up in a beat-up station wagon, music blaring, Bree knew he was the same loud, clumsy dude he'd always been. Later, the two reminisced about the games they used to play and mischief they'd gotten into. Finn remembered Bree's collection of dolls and how they creeped him out. While they'd been put away years ago, Bree's memories were filled with dress-up and tea parties. Again, Finn reminded her that one in particular had eyes that didn't match the others. They were solid black. Bree, remembering that it had beautiful hazel eyes, suggested they pull the dolls out of the attic so she could prove him wrong. After several minutes of shuffling through boxes, there they were. All 6 dolls in their boxes. Finn immediately spotted the one called Samantha. And just like he said, her eyes were completely black. She didn't look like the doll on the box, but something far more sinister. Bree was taken aback, as the only thing she could remember was that Samantha was her last doll. She'd stopped collecting them after her, but she couldn't remember why. Finn playfully grabbed Samantha and began miming her voice, calling her the devil's child. Bree laughed at her friend being silly. Just then, the door to the attic slammed shut, plunging them into darkness. Bree called out to Finn. He threw Samantha across the attic and blindly ran toward Bree. I told you something was wrong with that doll, he whispered in her ear. They began to make their way to the attic, but with each step, another came from the direction of where Samantha had been thrown. If they took 2 steps, they heard 2 steps. Those steps growing closer, and the friends decided to run the rest of the way. Once they reached the door, they realized it was locked from the outside. They banged, pushed, and pulled, but the door didn't budge. Suddenly, the temperature plummeted, and the steps that they had heard, the tiny steps that they could hear, were now just inches behind them. Finn grabbed onto Bree's hand. They could see each other's faces through a light coming through a crack in the door jamb. That is, until Finn was ripped away suddenly and thrown clear across the attic. Bree could hear him bouncing from one side to the next, crashing into boxes, letting out painful screams along the way. Then, a huge crash and silence. Bree heard the attic door slowly unlock, and as it opened, she could see Finn lying on the floor, covered in scratches and blood. He wasn't moving. She ran to him, and his eyes were wide open. She leaned in closer, begging for him to be okay, but all she saw as she kneeled inches from his face were 2 solid black eyes and his lifeless body. Through her tears, she looked up for answers. In the corner sat Samantha, looking just like her regular self, with her deep, dark eyes. But now, she had a newly painted grin on her face. Bombas' mission is simple. Make the most comfortable clothes ever and match every item sold with an equal item donated. So when you buy Bombas, you're also giving to someone in need. Valentine's Day is around the corner, so I'm really looking forward to receiving my men's calf-high heart print socks from Bombas. The purple peekaboo hearts are going to be a perfect match with my gray ankle boots I just got over winter break. Bombas designed their socks, shirts, and underwear to be the clothes you can't wait to put on every day. Everything they make is soft, seamless, tagless, and has a luxuriously cozy feel. They're made from super soft materials like merino wool, pima cotton, and even cashmere, which makes them the perfect cozy winter layers. There's a pair of Bombas socks for everything you do. They come in tons of options, like comfy performance styles for every sport and activity that keeps you moving. Bombas t-shirts are made with thoughtful design features, like invisible seams, soft fabrics, and the perfect weight so they hang just right. Bombas underwear has a barely there feel with second skin support that might make you forget they're even there, in a good way. And did you know that socks, underwear, and t-shirts are the 3 most requested clothing items at homeless shelters? That's why Bombas donates one for every item you buy. So far, Bombas customers like you have helped donate over 50 million items of essential clothing. Go to bombas.com/scary and get 20% off any purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/scary for 20% off. Bombas.com/scary. What makes a murderer's mind tick? Killer Psyche is a true crime podcast from Wondery that explores these types of questions about the crimes that killers and criminals commit. True crime is one of my favorite genres, so I have a feeling that this podcast is made for me. Host Candace DeLong, and I love that we have a professional on the front line here, using her 5 decades of experience as a clinical psychiatric nurse and FBI criminal profiler to dissect the motivations and behaviors of the most terrifying felons in history. And you'll definitely want to listen to a recent episode of Killer Psyche where Candace looks into the mysterious murder of Ted Amon, a wealthy Wall Street financier. Ted had been going through a divorce with his wife of 13 years, Generosa, and millions in assets and child custody were at stake. Generosa and her new boyfriend, Danny Pelosi, were the prime suspects. But Generosa died of cancer before police could prove her involvement. In 2004, Danny was convicted of second-degree murder, but still maintains his innocence. How does hatred drive a person to murder the father of their children? Listen to Killer Psyche on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can listen 1 week ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app. If you'd like to submit a story, send me an email at somethingscary@snarled.com. Like and share this video if it gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe to Snarled and turn on the bell for notifications. And if you dare, follow me on social media. Until next time, my dark darlings, sweet dreams.